Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you so much for joining me back. So today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys what I packed for New York City. If you follow me on Instagram, then you've probably seen that I went to New York with my family, with my sisters and their kids and my mom. No husbands were invited. It was just a little sisters trip with our kids, and we wanted to go during Christmas time and just show them all the decor, and also just to see some things they hadn't seen. If some of you might know, I have mentioned it maybe once or twice, maybe more than that. I did live in New York City about 7 years ago now, and I lived there for about 4 years. And one day I do plan to make a video on my journey, why I lived there, and all that stuff, because I feel like it's a fun story and a good story to tell so that you guys can understand me more of who I am and where I've come from. But that will be later, probably early next year. I will be able to film that when we get settled into our house. Obviously, we have not moved. I'm still in the same background, which I kind of will miss this background, so I'm not sure what my other one's going to look like when we move. I have a few ideas, but I really have enjoyed this little setup here in the background. But anyways, going back to New York, I wanted to share with you guys what I took and what I recommend. And like I said, I lived there for 4 years. I wouldn't call myself, an expert in New York, but I do know that, and I've also visited after I have left. So I feel like as a tourist, it's really important to know certain things that when you do go, you have expectations, but what the reality of it is. And I think a lot of us women kind of think of Sex in the City, and don't get me wrong, I do too. I absolutely dreamt about walking around in my heels and my fun fancy clothes when I did live there. And I did, but I took a lot of taxis if I did wear some cute shoes, some heels. So keep that in mind. And again, I went with my family and not as a girls trip. I have gone back with a friend of mine, and we did more of the fancier things, but this time was definitely more for sightseeing, seeing the beautiful decor in New York, and lots of walking. So keep that in mind. If you're interested in hearing what I brought, what I recommend, and you might be going as a tourist to New York in the next couple of months, then let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so how am I going to start this? Because when I pack for a trip, the first thing I think of is, what's the weather going to be like, and what do I plan on doing? Every single trip, whether if it's a cold climate or a warm climate. I do this every single time I go on vacation. So I knew that we were going to be walking a lot. So I wanted to make sure that I was going for comfort for my feet. And I knew going with my sisters and the kids, we weren't going to be going out to, a fancy, bar or club and going clubbing. This was strictly family time. So I knew that heels weren't going to be involved. So I knew exactly I wanted 2 pair of boots to take. And also, I should also mention, when packing for colder climates, things get bulky. Your sweaters, your jackets, your boots, they start to get really just heavy. So that was the other thing I had in mind. So I knew I wanted 2 pair of boots that I could switch back and forth every day. One wear one day and then the other, so that my feet kind of change up the patterns of what I'm wearing. So, but I knew I didn't want to take sneakers, but that's up to you. But I knew I wanted boots. The first boot that I had in mind, I knew exactly that it would get me far and I'd be comfortable, were these. Y'all have seen them plenty and plenty of time on my channel. I got them earlier this year, and I know they're selling out. They have the black version I mentioned, but I knew that this color was something, because it was a good neutral, kind of break up the monotony of wearing all black, which is what most people do when they visit New York, because it's easy, and I don't blame you to do that because I did it. So, but I knew I wanted these. They were comfortable, so I took these. So that was one pair. The second pair I wanted to take, I actually did not have. So I bought them, and I wanted a pair of black combat boots. I have some, but they have a heel, and I knew that if I wore them all day, my feet would hurt. So I found these. Also by Steve Madden are these black combat boots. The heel was really nice, kind of really comparable to these. I wanted the black ones, and I was going to order them, and I know I've mentioned I want to order them, but they were sold out. So I'm still looking for them and the black version, but I knew a combat boot would be just fine anyways. Love these These were super comfortable. I will admit that I bought them and I did not have time to break them in. So I broke them in there, which I was pleasantly surprised that that they did not hurt my feet. There was a little bit of a on the side of my ankle, but it's because I wore some faux leather leggings that had zippers, so I had to fold them up. But other than that, super comfortable. I went a half size up. I'm between a 6.5, 7. I grabbed a 7 so I could grab, wear a little bit thicker socks. But these I've mentioned, I downsized to a 6.5, and I can still wear thick socks. So I definitely think these run big compared to these. But I really, really like them. Definitely recommend them. I will leave the link down below for you guys. So those are really the 2 shoes I took. I did take a pair of knee-high boots, my other Steve Maddens that I've always shown these to wear one night that I thought I was going to wear with a dress. But honestly, I didn't even wear them because I just wore these 2 the entire time. So those were the absolutely 2 must-things that I started out with. Next, I knew that I needed a jacket. You're going there, it's going to be cold, but I also did not want to take several coats and jackets because it weighs it down, your luggage, and I knew that I was only packing one check-in with my daughter, and we were going to share because I really wanted to be minimal. I wanted to be precise with what I took, so I didn't overpack, yet I didn't underpack. So I took 1 coat, and I knew that I did not want to take black. I wanted to take my beautiful dark brown coat that I have from H&M. You guys have seen me wear it. I'm going to be posting like pictures and video of what I did get in when I was in New York. But I also took this a couple of years ago with my husband, and I just love it. I love the color. I think it sort of breaks up the black if you want something different, and the color, the dark brown, goes so well with the lighter tones of the cream with the shoes and also with black as well. So I knew that was a fact. Those were the 3 must-haves that I did, and then from there I started building my wardrobe. So from there, I knew, let's start with pants. I knew I wanted to take black jeans, black leggings, and all that. So I took, and then I also took another pair of pants. So these were the bottoms that I took. A black pair of skinnies, some faux leather leggings, and then just some regular leggings, some really thick ones. And then I decided to take just a straight leg pair of jeans. And these were my bottoms that I wore, and I was there for 4 days. And then I also get into what I wore on the plane, but for now, this is what I wore when I was there. So let's start out with what I wore on the plane. So I knew I wanted to be comfortable, and I also knew that I was going to be wearing one of those shoes. I decided to wear the cream ones, so I decided to go for a brown sweat pantsuit, I guess, with a hoodie and the pants. Simple, easy. I wore a white t-shirt. It was super comfortable. The boots looked cute with it. It was kind of very like streetwear style. And then that was my plane ride to go there. Like I said, it was super comfortable. I could have probably wore it that night when we went, but I decided, since I was traveling in it all day, that I would change it up. And so I decided that I was going to wear my black skinnies, and I was going to throw on a leopard sweatshirt. So that was what I wore the first night with the howler boots as well. So it wasn't all black. You had this color, worked really, really nice with it. And then I had the brown coat over it, and that is it. Oh, and I also should mention real quick, as far as accessories, actually we'll get to the accessories after I tell you everything about what I wore. Okay, so that was the first night we were there. Second full day that we were there, I decided to do black leather leggings, switch up my shoe, and wore these so I could get a break from wearing the howler ones that I wore the previous day. That I decided to do an outfit that I have worn before. I think I wore it last year, and I will show you guys a picture of it, how I wore it and styled it, which is kind of similar. This time I did not wear a belt. I wore a white bodysuit, threw this over. Super simple and comfy, and it was actually kind of mild and warm that day, in the 60s, so I really didn't even need my coat, so it was nice. I actually threw over my big, huge scarf I had just in case I did get cold, but I didn't need a jacket that day because it was in the 60s, and it was really, really nice. Night, I actually just switched up my top, and I wore a black turtleneck and threw on a black oversized vest, and I don't know, I just wanted to switch it up that night for some reason. I just wanted to get out of the white bodysuit because I was wearing it all day and it was white. I did get it a little dirty, you know, eating and, you know, stuff like that. So you got to be careful. All right, next day I switched up back to the other shoes. So I decided to wear these pants and I decided to do something fun, even though you kind of didn't even see my outfit because you do wear a coat that you can't see it, but you can kind of see it in this picture that I'm going to show you guys. And then, of course, I'm going to show you a selfie as well of what it looked like, but let me go grab the stuff. All right, so I wore this button up with this beautiful green and cream striped top over it with these pants. Loved it. Like I said, couldn't really see it because it did get cold that day. Like, it was warm on that Monday. Tuesday got really cold because a cold front came through. And like I said, I checked the weather, so I'm kind of I already knew that. So I knew I would be wearing a coat over this, so I didn't want anything too bulky, and this fit. So super cute, stylish. Kind of didn't see it, but it's okay. I knew what was underneath it. And then I also wore a hat, a cabbie hat, on my head that day, because just to shield some of the, you know, the coldness on my head, and that helped. So that was the Tuesday, our third day there during the day. Tuesday night, like I said, I switched it up. I decided to wear these really thick black leggings. I threw on this see-through, very beautiful, flowy button up, and then I put a cream sweatshirt over it with, it was a 3/4 inch sleeve, which I can't find it right now, but I'm going to show you guys a picture. And that's what I wore our last night there. And I switched my shoe and I wore the black boots that night. And I also wore a beret. So that was our last night there. All right, so our next day there, we were leaving, which I knew that, so I knew we were going to get up early, go do the last few minute things we wanted to do before we had to catch our flight. So I thought I was just going to wear what I'm going to wear on the flight anyway. So I went back to the leggings that I just showed you, the really, really thick ones. I wore that, and I just wore it with an oversized white shirt. It was my Dallas Cowboys shirt, and then I threw on a Dallas sweater, and then my jacket over that. Like I said, you couldn't really see what I wore anyways because I kept it on pretty much the entire time because it was cold that day as well. And wore my howler boots, and that was it, you guys. So all these outfits could have been mixed and matched with each other. That's why I kind of, when I was building my thoughts and my wardrobe around the shoes, I knew all of this stuff could really mix and match with each other, and that's what I wanted to do. So that is it. That is what I took. What I suggest taking is really keeping it simple, unless you're going there with the girls and it's all about what you're wearing. But I feel like what I took was pretty practical, but it was still, you know, cute and stylish as well. And I loved it, and I kept my color palette pretty neutral, black, creams, and browns, and I feel like that's probably the safe and best way to go. Especially wearing black is probably the best way when you're visiting New York, because if you are taking the subway and you are sitting down, you know, you don't want things to get dirty, in which they will, so keep that in mind. And being that it is winter time, you know, sometimes black is just the safest way to go, but that doesn't mean you can't wear your whites and your creams, because you should if you want to, but this is what I packed, and I thought everything was perfect for what I needed. The shoes were perfect, the outfits were great, the coat, and then I was going to talk about accessories. I took 2 hats, actually 3 hats, a beanie, and I did wear the beanie during the day on a couple of those days I forgot to mention, and then I did a cabbie hat, and then, or if you want to call it a captain hat, I'm sorry, and then I did a beret, and those were the 3 hats that I took, and I did wear them, and they kept my head warm, and helped keep me nice and toasty during the day and at nighttime. Other than that, oh, and I took a scarf. I took 1 scarf and 1 pair of gloves, in which I think that is perfect, a pair of black, and then I took a scarf, and it was actually a really beautiful leopard print scarf. It's not one of those blanket ones where it's like a square. Mine is more long and it's a little wider, which I really like. I got it from Target years ago. I travel with it a lot. Let me go grab it because it's such a good scarf. Here is my scarf that I've had for years. I love it. I love the colors because it's black and it has brown in it. So it can go pretty much with anything, ladies. And like I said, you can use it as a shawl, as what I did on that Monday when it was kind of warm. Or of course you can put it around your neck and just wrap it around several times. It's one of those, it's just a really good scarf and it goes with everything. I love it. And I even travel with it in the summertime because it's a good blanket. It actually works really well on the plane with my daughter as a blanket. So really, really love this one. Or you can leave it open and you can just have it kind of laying down. It's just a perfect scarf. I really don't even buy a lot of scarves because I use this one all the time. So I really haven't bought a scarf in probably since I bought this one, because this is the only one I really use in the wintertime. So I took that. All right, you guys, that is it. That is what I took to New York. Pretty simple and easy, and like I said in the beginning, I've lived there before. When you go to New York, your expectations are different, but just know that you're going to walk a lot. Whether you take a cab or the subway, we took the subway because it was 8 of us, so it would be very hard to get 2 cabs at the same time. And we also stayed somewhere where it was pretty neutral. I knew where we should stay, and we stayed in the Midtown area. I can leave where we stayed. It was a really beautiful hotel called the Draper. Fairly new, loved it, and I read some reviews on it about the hotel, about how tiny the rooms are. Well, let me just tell you, all the rooms in New York City and hotels are tiny. And this one with the double bed was actually not too bad, but I really loved the location. It was on the west side, Midtown, right next to Bryant Park, so you could take the, I think the no, maybe that's in, or both of them. But anyways, you could go to Bryant Park, or you could go to Herald Square to catch the train, or you could just walk up a little bit further and catch, and go up to a Grand Central Station, and it was near the public library. It's just a great location. And also you could walk to Times Square, a little further, but if you had the right shoes, you could totally do it, because we did it one night coming back. But it's just a good, great central location. I totally recommend it. Like I said, I will leave the information to the hotel we stayed at because it was just the perfect location. All right, you guys, that is it. That is what I packed for New York City. I have to say I'm pretty darn proud of myself because everything I packed I wore except for 2 things, and it was just layering tops that I took just in case I needed it underneath like a sweater. But I did pretty great. I mean, I even took shoes that I didn't even need to wear. I could have had more room in my luggage, but for like a coat, but it's fine. I didn't need another one. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you guys are visiting New York City during the winter time and you're going possibly with your family, or you're just going to be sightseeing a lot, because that is what we did. Like I said, if you are from New York or if you are going for a different reason, then this is probably not but a good video for you to be watching. Hopefully you are not still watching at this point because you probably got tired of it. But if you are going, that is my suggestion is making sure your shoes are going to be the most comfortable things that you can find, because you will be doing a lot of walking. And then from there you can build your wardrobe and kind of stay in those neutral kind of, field, so that you can really mix and match your outfits from day to day. Because you never know when it might get hot, warm. Also, check the weather, because I know I do that a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed it, like I said, and it was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe if you aren't already. I would appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. I hope I did not forget any information. I don't think I did. If I did, let me know in the comments below if I didn't address something. Okay, bye.